What's the deal, my people? You know this, Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one. And the teaser trailer for episode 12 just about gives everything away. When you look at the facts that we've seen up to this point, I can give you 100% proof. I guarantee you that this is how it's going to end in this series. I'm going to tell you exactly that. I'm going to give you point by point the Easter eggs you missed that pointed to this direction all along, and we're going to break down the title of the next episode. All this in this episode. So let's do this. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon. If you can, please subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. As always, 500 is the like goal. If this video hits 500 likes, I'll give a subscriber who leaves a comment on this video a $25 Amazon gift card. Yes, that was hit on the last video, so I will announce in this video who won the last one. Let's break this down. Right off the bat, from the teaser, we see one cop car already pulled up with their lights flashing at a residence. We know it's a private residence from the houses behind it. We also know that they are not here to arrest Saul, that his cover has not been blown, because if they were there for him, they would not be there with one cop car. Believe you me, if they get the opportunity to arrest him for who he truly is, it's going to be multiple cop cars that come there looking for him. After that, we do see them with the lights on the cop car. We don't know if they drove there with the lights on, or we don't know if they turned the lights on when they got there. Since they are not walking incredibly fast when they get out of the cars, I would suggest that most likely they turned them on when they got there or close to getting there. They didn't drive the whole way with the lights on. Next, we can see them both get out with their hands on their guns. Again, they are both walking. They're not running, so they don't know exactly what they're walking into. They don't know if there's danger in there. If they thought there was danger in there, they would not be walking that slow. They would take a defensive position. So just like a traffic stop, they always put their hands on their gun because they don't know what that driver has in that car at that particular time. That's why they approach like that. And that seems to be the way they're approaching this house. Next, we have to analyze exactly how this episode ended. And it ended in a cliffhanger. They showed Gene as Victor breaking into the man with cancer's house in order so he can complete the scheme that his boy was not willing to do because this man has cancer. Now, what happens in a cliffhanger on a TV show is that the person never gets caught from the actual cliffhanger moment itself. This is common in Hollywood, so from that we can tell that whatever he's doing here, he will not get caught at this particular time because of this situation. That is the art of a cliffhanger. You can go back to the Batman series in the 70s, and you could also go back to Who Shot JR in the 80s. Batman never gets caught or dies in those situations when they leave him like that, and JR did not die when he got shot. Spoilers for that. That is what a cliffhanger truly is, just to set you up thinking something bad is going to happen, but it actually does not. So if we assume that the cops are pulling up to this house, why would they be pulling up to this house at nighttime still? One reason would be that there would be an alarm in this man's house. A silent alarm went off inside of this man's house. We did not see one right off, but doesn't mean that there cannot be a silent alarm that triggered the police to respond to this man. Next could be someone called 911 and reported something bad's going on in this house because maybe the drugs he was taking plus his cancer medicine makes the man's heart stop. Saul gets inside there, sees this. He has no choice because he feels bad but to call the cops to try to save this man's life, and that's why they're coming in there. He can easily talk his way out of that situation by saying he was out drinking with the guy. He got concerned that he was drinking with the guy, and then he seen him from outside of the house. That's why he broke in to save him, because the guy looks lethargic. He didn't look like he was responding to him when he was knocking on the door. So that's why he broke in. That's all he would have to say to get out of this situation. He would easily look like a hero that he saved this guy. He has the proper ID. They're not going to fingerprint him. That's the only thing that could tie him to Saul Goodman. They're not going to do that. He has all the proper identification, so he would be scot-free at that point. I say at that point because if this man does survive or die, either way, they're going to run a toxicology report to see exactly what was in his system. And once they see the barbiturates in his system, then they may go back to him and question him about that situation and what's going on there. As I promised right from the opening jump, I'm going to tell you right now exactly how this is going to end and give you 100% proof that this is what's going to happen. First, let's look at the title for the next upcoming episode. That title is Waterworks. Now, we did hear something about Kim working at a sprinkler factory. So when you hear the title Waterworks and you hear the sprinkler factory, you automatically have to go back and think of Kim. But that isn't exactly what that truly means. What Waterworks truly means when I think of Waterworks is only one thing, and that is a monopoly board, the Waterworks company in Monopoly. And if we look at this Monopoly board, it spells out the fate for this show. This is episode 12. There are 13 episodes in this show, one away from the ending of this show. If we look at the Monopoly board, we can see that Waterworks is one away from go to jail. And that is the ending for this man. He will go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Now I'm going to show you exactly how all these scenes are linked and how they are all placed in a specific order to show you exactly how this is going to end for Gene. Jeff pulls up to his house. He sees Gene's car sitting outside. When he walks inside, he sees Gene hanging out with his mother, and his mother is using a computer. And then she says this.
Gene showed me. You go to the box up here, and then you type in funny cat videos. Hey, that's not just funny cat videos. These funny cat videos just pop up.
After that, they walk outside, and it's apparent that Jeff is afraid or somewhat concerned that Gene is going to be mad at him that he brought his mother this computer.
I swear the computer's the big thing I bought. It's not even that much. It's an old model on discount.
This is when Gene tells him we're back in business and we're going to do these robberies, and that's when the robberies start to take place. After that, during the robbery, we are shown one thing about the guy that is helping them out. And that is his routine, like Jeff's routine is to drive the cab. His routine is to be walking his dog. I guess they think that by walking a dog, he looks like he's harmless if he has the dog with him. But we see him every time they do the job that he has his dog with him while he commits the crime. After that, we get a flashback of Saul talking to Mike, and they're talking about Heisenberg and his real identity and what's going on with him.
What else about the teacher?
He has lung cancer.
Jesus. That's why he can't quit with the coffee.
And then we hear Mike give him some good advice when dealing with this dude that he should have taken.
Let it go.
He specifically tells him to let it go. Don't mess with this one. Let it go. Leave this one alone. All right? But he does not listen to him. And he gives him advice of why he thinks he should let it go.
Well, you see an amateur, I see 170 pounds of clay ready to be molded.
Well, if the cancer doesn't get him, it'll be the cops or a bullet to the head.
He says specifically not to work with him because he's an amateur and that he's either going to die, get caught by the cops, or get a bullet to the head. The people that we see Saul, Gene working with now are complete amateurs. Right after that, they transition into Gene making a drink, and look how he's making this drink. Nice and neat. No spilling of it, no nothing. Last time we seen him make this drink, it was all over the place. This one, he's got it down pat, no spilling, it's not sloppy. Which they're trying to make you think that he's not being sloppy because he made his drink nice and neat. But truly he is being nothing but sloppy, messing with the guys he's messing with, the amateurs, something only a sloppy person would do. He knows better. He was told to leave it alone, but he doesn't know how to leave it alone. And this is when he gets the call after this that something went wrong with the plan, and he goes off and tells them to meet him in the garage. We then transition to Marion, and what is Marion doing? She is on the computer. And what breaks her interest from being on this computer? It is the dog, the barking of the dog that they bring for all of the heist that gets Marion to go and look out her window and see exactly what's going on at this particular time. And while they are inside of this garage, this is when the dude tells him, I cannot do it. I can't do it to this guy. And why can't he do it to this guy?
I can't rip off a guy with cancer. I'm sorry.
Do you know how many of the suckers we've ripped off have sob stories? Every single one of them.
It is specifically cancer is the reason why he cannot pull this job off. He doesn't want to rip off somebody with cancer. And then he tries to explain to Gene what the deal is.
Look, we're doing really well, right? Hear me out, okay? I mean, we're rolling in cash. We could just let this one go.
Not your call.
The exact words that are used is let it go. What did Mike say?
Let it go.
Let it go. Let the one go dealing with the person with cancer. And why did Mike tell him that he should not deal with this dude with cancer and that he should let it go?
Well, you see an amateur, I see 170 pounds of clay ready to be molded.
Because he's an amateur, and you should not be working with amateurs. You're supposed to be a professional or on a different level. There's no reason for you to work with amateurs. And what does Gene say to this dude right after he fires him?
And I know I don't need to tell you this, but since you're such a goddamn amateur, I will anyway. Keep your mouth shut.
He specifically calls him an amateur, which again brings us back to Mike and why Mike says you should not work with amateurs.
Well, you see an amateur, I see 170 pounds of clay ready to be molded.
Well, if the cancer doesn't get him, it'll be the cops or a bullet to the head.
He specifically says if the cancer does not get him, it'll be the cops. That's the first thing he says. The cops are going to catch him. That again brings us back to the name of this episode, which is Waterworks, which is one tile away from what? Go to jail. And how would you go to jail if you were in this situation? Well, we heard him say that to this guy right at the end of this conversation.
And I know I don't need to tell you this, but since you're such a goddamn amateur, I will anyway. Keep your mouth shut.
And he might keep his mouth shut. He may hold his water. He could be that type of guy. But someone is not going to keep their mouth shut. Somebody is going to spill the beans on the whole operation. And who is that going to be? Well, that will be Marion, without a shadow of a doubt. We already seen her peeking through the window. We don't know how long she was in the window. She could have been in the window the whole time and watched her son pull off with Jean. She has already said before in the past that her son got in with bad people. She's not going to trust this guy anymore after seeing that situation. In fact, her trust was waning when he went outside in the first place with him. And this one just cements it when she's seeing him at nighttime out there with her son. It's going to be her that drops the dime, that does not keep her mouth shut. It's only fitting that this happens from the beginning when we looked at Gene and we met his character as Saul, Jimmy, whoever you want to call him. He was taking advantage of older people, trying to make money off of older people. So it's going to be 100% a 360 when we see him getting taken down by an older person. And that is how it's going to end for him. I have one final twist I'm going to give you, and for that we have to go back once again to what Mike said.
Well, you see an amateur, I see 170 pounds of clay ready to be molded.
Well, if the cancer doesn't get him, it'll be the cops or a bullet to the head.
He says 3 things here: cancer, cops, bullet to the head. Those are all 3 things that are going to bring down Saul in the end. The guy with the cancer, that's what he said. Then it will be the cops that come and get him, and then he says a bullet to a head. He's talking in that reference to him getting shot by somebody, but when you talk about a bullet to the head, most times they are referring to a suicide. And I think that is how it truly ends for Jimmy McGill. Due to him messing with the guy with cancer, which he should have just left that all alone. Left it alone. Because he messed with him and he dealt with Marion, Marion will drop the dime on him, which will then lead to the cops coming to arrest him. And when the cops come to arrest him and he feels the walls closing in on him, he's going to commit suicide. Most likely by putting those barbiturates into his drink that we see him make and causing him to overdose and causing him to die. He doesn't seem strong enough to do the time to me, so the way he would get out of it would be to kill himself. It would fit in with Francesca saying Kim wondered if he was still alive. It also would fit in with when he did the last caper with the security guards, him talking about if he died, nobody would actually care. Fits in perfectly with all that. I don't think he's man enough to do the time or go to jail. I think it's easier for him just to kill himself. But you tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you have something else that you believe is going to point to how it's going to end? Put it in the comment section. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Put it in the comment section. Again, thank you for the people who have subscribed to this channel, and that's why I give away the gift card, and the winner of this gift card is Cola JC. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hit me up, Teflon TV on Facebook, and I will get that right out to you. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.